Bookish friends, welcome back to Amanda's Bookish Adventures, and today we're going to kind of do a TBR slash kind of reset. So for the beginning of March, I am attempting to readathons. We got spring into season-a-thon, I think that's what it's called. I'll link the announcement videos to both of them, and we have realmathon. I'm in the stingers. I always enjoy a good realmathon. I've not been very successful in the past, but I've only read a couple books. I'm hoping to change that. So what I want to do is a March reset, which is what I'm calling this. I have stacks of books that I would like to read. I would also like to talk a little bit about my life right now, and we will go from there. So for the month of February, I have not vlogged anything, but I did I got my TikTok back. So I uploaded a bunch of my small little mini book, manga, comic, some books, and the comic ones are doing really well on my channel. I've had more views on the shorts than I've had on my actual videos. Does that mean I'm gonna stop filming videos and focus on shorts? No, but it does mean I would like to get some new shorts in because I haven't filmed any new shorts at all. So, and that realistically, I know if you don't be consistent with updating, YouTube likes to punish you. Louie, don't knock over the stack of books. Let's just push that away from my beloved puppy. My beloved dog. Right. Just knocked over a stack of books. Let's move over here. So I do want to talk a little bit about February. So far in February, I did more books. So far for the year, I've read 17 things. The majority, and I'm not ashamed of it, but majority has been manga. I have read some Kindle books and an audiobook, which is great, but I tend to lean, especially if I'm stressed out, not doing good, I know I can read a manga really quickly. So because of that, I would like to get more books on my Goodreads goal. I'm not going to say mangas aren't books, but I want to get more harder books, so I'm finding new favorites, or if I don't like them, I'm going to unhaul them. But I probably will I just unhauled a bunch of books that even though I didn't film, I unhauled about 90 books. I unhauled books that have moved with me so long that the copies just weren't physically there. I had to keep some because most of them still don't have Kindle books. So I can buy new books of some of them. So my thing is I don't want to until the book is completely destroyed. So there is that. And another thing is I am on a buying ban in March. Pre-orders can come in, but I'm not allowed to buy it. Physical books are not the problem because I do have pre-orders coming in. I have bought so many Kindle books and audiobooks that I have not listened to or read. We are on a ban from Kindle books for the next 2 months of buying. I also paid for a year of Kindle Unlimited. If they're in Kindle Unlimited, instead of I could just go buy them, I can read them off Kindle Unlimited. So that will be another thing we will be trying in March, is to read Kindle books. I'm not going to talk about them. If I read them in the vlog or a spin-off vlog where it's just that Kindle book or a Kindle book series, great. But it has to be a Kindle Unlimited or a book I've previously bought. Or if it's a Kindle pre-order, that is fine too. We will not be buying any more Kindle books for the next 2 months. Now, we're going to talk about some of the books. For a sequel, I would like to go reread The Keepers of the Lost Cities, Everblaze. Now, Sophie Foster is an elf, but she was hidden in the human world. She never knew about elves, other magical creatures, never knew that elves were a very dominant society with their laws and rules. She was born and entrusted in humans' care to hopefully change elf politics. This is becoming a TV series. I don't know if they filmed anything. It's been a while since I checked on this. 9.5 just got released, and my goal last year was to get caught up on all the books so I can read, because they are in their teenager years, and even though this is a middle grade, I think that they're 17 in that book. So I want to get to that. I want to find out what's going on with Sophie. So we will be reading this. It is a beloved series of mine. And yes, there are issues like with writings and stuff, because I've read it one all the way to book 6 and I've not continued past. These books have made me cry. I can't remember which ones, but we are getting this one on the journey, and hopefully I can read 1 or 2 each month. We will see. Now, I would like to read these 2. I also own Bride, and somehow I just went back to my previous Goodreads year and it says I read it, and I didn't. So I'm going to be reading that probably sometime later in the year. We are going to be reading these this month. So, A Forbidden Secret proves that all fair in love and science. I pre-ordered this from Kindle Unlimited, or not Kindle, Barnes & Noble. I paid more for it at Barnes & Noble as a pre-order than I could have got it on Amazon. So I've been trying to help where I buy and try to help different places with books. And I've not had it since it's come out. And I pre-ordered this and Bride at the same time. So let's read this one. Rue Schubert might not have it all, but she has enough few friends she can always count on, the financial stability she's yearned for as a kid, and a successful career as a bioengineer at Klein, one of the most promising startups in the field of food science. Her world is stable, pleasant, and hard-fought till a hostile takeover and its offensively attractive man threatens to bring it all crumbling down. Eli Kilgore and his business partner want Klein, period. Eli has his own reasons for pushing the deal through, and he's a man who gets what he wants. With one burning exception, Rue. This woman he cannot stop thinking about, the woman who's off limits to him. Torn between loyalty and an undeniably attraction, Rue and Eli throw caution out of the lab and the boardroom windows. Their affair a secret, no strings attached, and it has a built-in deadline. That one day, their companies prevail, but heart is a risky business. That plays for keep. I heard this is one of Ali Hazelwood's spiciest, which realistically, I can get this one done. Now, this behemoth worries me. I went on when I bought this one, and I've not looked back. I've read Ali Hazelwood's other books, and I don't physically own The Love Hypothesis. I might buy it on Kindle because I don't have a lot of space. Does that mean I'm not going to stop myself from buying books? No. But can I prevent myself from buying a physical edition when I could buy a Kindle edition? Maybe. So I do want to own that one and the other one. That's pink. That came after this, before these. I'll buy those and her short stories for Kindles and then keep the physical editions I have. So, the many lives of theoretical physicist Elise Hanaway have finally caught up with her. By day, she's an adjunct professor toiling away at grading labs and teaching thermonics in the hopes of landing tenure. By other day, Elise makes up her non-existent paycheck by offering her services as a fake girlfriend, tapping into her expertly honed people-pleasing skills to embody whichever version of herself the client needs. Honestly, it's a pretty sweet gig until her carefully constructed Elise verse comes crashing down. Because Jack Smith, the annoyingly attractive and arrogant older brother of her favorite client, turns out to be a cold-hearted experimental physicist who ruined her mentor's career and undermined the reputation of theorists everywhere. And he's the same Jack Smith who rules over physics department at MIT, standing between Elise and her dream job. Elise is prepared for an all-out war of scholarly sabotage, but the long, penetrating looks, not having anything other than her true self when she's with him, with falling into an experiment orbit finally tempting her to put her most guarded theories of love into practice. So those would be good to get read because I've had them for so very long that they need to be read. I'm going to put my books of shame. Really, the first one's more the Book of Shame because I own 2 editions of it. Legends and Lattes. Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry. It's my book of shame. I bought the independent edition when he published it by himself. Then I bought this edition and this edition at Walmart. And because they are so hyped, and I've been so overwhelmed with when I buy a hype book, I don't read it and it sits on my shelves. I need to read it to decide if I like it at all or they need to be unhauled, because they have sat around way too long and taken up space potentially for books that could possibly be 5 stars. I'm not saying I won't love these, and if I love them, great, they can stay. But but before I get all negative about myself, I don't know if I said this, I did unhaul 90 books. And I think I did say that. I just had to bring that back up. So these have to get on the TBR. These have got to be read. And I don't know how. So far, just talking about this stack, that is 5 books, which potentially that's great, right? Not for me. No, it's easier to read on my Kindle, which I don't do. I'll read off my phone. I do read books on my Kindle and then I don't stay consistent, so they just sit there. So I have a lot of books on my Goodreads shelf that shows that I'm reading that I'm not, that I read maybe 5 pages of and put down. So we got the first 5, which could work for different prompts in either one of these readathons. Let's go to another book that I want to talk about. I have bought Sons of Darkness by Gloria Rav Montour, which will work. I think it's another book that could work very well for both editions, if this is right. Gloria was born in... Yeah, it could work, because one of realmathons is, for like a predominantly dark book or a special edition book. This could also work for spring into season-a-thon with an Indian author. One of the prompts. I got it written down. Let me read you the prompt. Holy Festival of Colors. Read a book with many colors on the cover, or a book with it by an Indian author. And I believe this book is. I'm going to research it more. I also have a Kindle book that I bought for $1.09 that will work for that prompt. But realistically, I would like to get this one on because I bought the sequel and it's coming later in this month of February. So it would kind of be fun to read them back to back. But that is beginning of a series, right? Which works for a realmathon prompt or season-a-thon prompt. I don't know. But I would like to read this Beneath because it has sat on my shelf as long as it's been out. So it needs to be read, especially since I didn't even know if I liked it and I bought the second book, which I'm very bad at, and we're going to try to change that behavior. But with the sprayed edge editions, I panic and I'm like, oh, well, if you don't get it, the sprayed edge editions won't be there anymore. So the panic is real in my brain. Doesn't like leave me alone at all. Oh, I think we disturbed the Lou. It's okay, buddy. Another book that could work for spring into season-a-thon wet teacher contest, a smutty book, Triple Duty Bodyguards by Lily Gold, a military reverse harem. Now, do I know much about this book? No. But did this intrigue me? Yes. Is it free on Kindle? Yes. Did I have to buy the paperback? No, but I did, so let's read it. I think I'm getting blue hair dye on all these books. But, yeah, I'm just gonna ignore it. One celebrity diva and a trouble 3 ex-military bodyguards determined to keep her safe. As one of the world's most hated celebrities, I'm used to the unwanted attention. But when I wake up to the morning to find an obsessed stalker has broken into my house, I know I need security. Fast enter the Angels, my 3 ex-military bodyguards. There's Glenn, the gentle Scottish sweetheart, Kenta, the secretive, long-haired soldier, and Matt, the blue-eyed, bad-tempered leader. Having 3 gorgeous men around me 24/7 sounds like a dream come true. Turns out to be a nightmare. We don't get on. They think I'm a demanding diva. I think they're overdramatic when a trip to America sends the guy's protective instincts into overdrive. The sizzling tension between us finally breaks, and I learn my bodyguard's biggest secret. They want me. All 3 of them. Meanwhile, my stalker's behavior is becoming more and more alarming. The premiere for my next movie coming up. Will the angels be able to keep me secret, or will my terrifying pursuer finally get deadly? You know what this kind of sounds like? Charlie's Angels. It really does. Reverse from having 3 secret agents to one of them dating an actor. Well, now all 3 of them want her. It just sounds like a good time. I know it'll be fun. This might not be filmed in vlogs. This might be read separately and a vlog later in the year, because I would like to do an A to Z reading challenge where you read the letter of the alphabet with a responding book. Which, when I've looked into it, some of them are hard. Like X, I have XO, and I've read it before. And it's on my Kindle, and I love that book, and I would love to reread it again, but some of them are hard. And I think that's like the only X book that I could think of that starts off the cover. So we got Raiders of the Lost Heart by Joe Segarra, Your Tent or Mine, The Ultimate Enemies to Adventures rom-com. I would count it for the reading. I think it's realmathon, like your favorite trope. It could be spring into season-a-thon or something. Realistically, I loved The Mummy growing up. I loved Indiana Jones. This one needs to be read because she has wrote a second book that comes out this year, and I cannot buy it until I've read this book because I bought this when this first came out. So this has got to be read before I can read Temple of Doom, I think. Archaeologist Dr. Sakura, or Corey Medja, has a bone to pick. Literally, it's been Corey's life goal to lead an expedition deep into the Mexican jungle in search of the long-lost remains of her ancestor, Chamali. I'm saying that wrong. Ali, an ancient warrior of the Aztec Empire. When she's invited to join an all-expense-paid dig to just do that, Carrie is sure it's too good to be true, and she's right. At the world's renowned expert on Chamali, Corey should by rights be leading this quest, not sharing the glory with her disgustingly handsome nemesis. But Dr. Ford Matthews has been finding new ways to best her since they were in grad school. Ford certainly isn't thrilled either with his life in shambles. The last thing he needs is a reminder of their rocky relationship. But as the dig begins, it becomes clear they need to work together. A thief is lurking around the campsite, forcing the pair to keep their discoveries and lingering attraction under wraps, with money-hungry artifacts, smugglers, the Mexican authorities, and that lies between them closing in. There is only one way this all ends: explosively. And look at the cover. It needs to be read, so it's on the TBR. I bought this when this came out, and I realistically think it only came out in 2024. Let's see if it's got 2024, so it would be good to get a backlist. I'm not going to read it too much, but it says Maisie's writing is authentic, emotional, intense, romantic to its form. It's like a Taylor Swift song in a book by Allie Hazelwood. That's her review of this book. I do know that I think one of the characters wins the lottery. Let's see. Yeah, winning the lottery has ruined Opal Devlin's life. After quitting her dead-end job where she's earned minimal wage and even less respect, she's bombarded by people knocking at her door for handouts the second they find out her bank account is overflowing with cash, and Opal can't seem to stop saying yes. She's a people pleaser. With her tender heart through the abuse, Opal decides to protect herself by any means, which to her translations, putting up most of all her new money into buying a failing flower farm in Asheville, North Carolina, to let the flowers live out their plant destiny, while she uses the cabin on the property to launch her artistic career. But her plans for isolation and self-preservation go hopelessly awry when an angry, albeit gorgeous Pepper Borden is waiting for her at her new farm. Pepper states she is the rightful owner of Thistle and Bloom Farm and isn't moving out. This unlikely pair strikes up an agreement of cohabitation, but heads at every turn. Can these opposites both live out their dreams and plant roots, or will they converse, arguing and growing attraction? Burn the whole place down. I really find this fascinating because you don't, like, when people win the lottery, I remember my dad or my mom tell me about a guy who won the lottery and wore a mask, so his family did not know about it. So this intrigued me immediately to that core memory in my head, so I had to pick this up. Since it got released last year, I've not, so it would be good to get a backlist 2024 release on here. There goes Lou trying to escape. I'll let him out once I'm done. I want to talk about another middle grade, The Conscious Girl by Alistair Chisholm. And I loved one of my favorite middle grades I've ever read was Orion Lost. And it could have been a movie. I want a sequel. Years later, I still want a sequel. That could have ended and that could have been a duology and I would have been happy about it. No, he only writes standalones right now. And it kills me to my core that he's not wrote a sequel or a companion novel to that book. The world of the colony is in ruins. No one knows what caused society to begin tearing itself apart. But the secret may lie with Cora, a girl living on the mountainside, far away from others. Cora possesses an incredible ability, one that changes lives, in ways both good and bad, but there are people looking for Cora. She's forced on the run, and she must decide who she is, what she can do, and how can she fix the world. It really kind of makes me want to pick up more Orion Lost, which if I have time in March, I might do it. This is the same thing. I bought this edition when the paperback came out. Came out in 2022, or at least maybe the hardcover came out in 2022. It's been sitting on my shelf. All right, well, I have dressers it sits on and bins because I don't have shelves. I'm in the smallest room in the house. I share the space. And it's really pretty and it's another sapphic romance. But I think I kind of shifted out of YA and it is, but I love contemporary YA. So we're going to bring that back. It's basically, they're in college, kind of like a fake dating, trying to get more into that. So if I read it, I'll read you the back of the book. It's kind of on the low burner of March, but I would like to get to it. Let's talk about a hard hit. This hits me hard because I was so obsessed when I started this in January and it's February. And I'm gonna have to reread it because I put it down because life was going too quick. I was stressed. Manga and Kindle books were easier, to the point that even though I'm at page 100, I'm just gonna restart it and I might just make it a separate vlog. It would work because it's a deluxe edition or whatever to one of the readathons. And from what I remember, I really enjoyed it. And I was considering it not a 5-star. I assumed the first time I read it was going to be a 5-star. I got to the next 50 pages, but I'm like, this could be a good 4.5. It had potential to be a 5-star. So, a king by day, shadow by night. The great betrayal changed everything for the Allied realm long ago. The kingdom's nobility house rose up against the goddess. And for their treachery and their firstborn, each noble family was cursed. One with a prayerless beauty, one with destructive knowledge, one with insatiable bloodlust. But the royal house of Monterey received the worst affliction of all, for while their king exists during the day, he fades into nothingness at night until his 21st birthday, when he will be lost forever, to the shadows forever. Now an acolyte has arrived at the court. Like all the second-born children of the Allied realm, she's destined to serve the goddess and become a seer. Only, I'm gonna say this name wrong. Circe Solom has no gift of foretelling. In fact, she has no magical gift at all. Instead, she's surrounded by courtiers and priests and smiling sycophants whose hearts are filled with secrets and lies, and at the center of it all sits his majesty, Cayenne Hannibal Montero. I think that's wrong too. With his haunting eye, sharp tongue, and an unerring ability to send her pulse skirting at the worst possible moments. Falling for him is unthinkable because the king is in the last of his line. As an specter of his 21st birthday appears, and full forces of his curse approaches, the kingdom holds its breath. But there's only one way to save a dying king, and it lies with the one person who's hiding the biggest secrets of them all, Sir Sai. So that's kind of a sneak peek of what I want to read in March and readathons I'm diving into. Haven't talked about audiobooks, haven't talked about Kindle books. We can read them, we just cannot buy them for the next 2 months. I'm most realistically, I think anything that's not on pre-order, unless I can read 5 Kindle books, 5 audiobooks, and 5 physical books, then I'm not buying it until I get to that goal. I think that's more attainable. So that is the start of my March. Let's count how many books that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's not bad for physical books, because mostly I've been leaning toward manga. Like I said, I've read a couple Kindle books, and I know this has been all over the place, but that is why we are going to do a March reset. Now, I would love to hear what you're reading in March, any goals you want done that you've struggled with the first 2 months of the year. I'd love to hear about it down below. Now, I will see you sometime later in another video, but overall, I hope you guys are doing well. Talk to you next time.